Beep, 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 beep. All that's new and approved from Jesters News. How are we? Hello, welcome. It's quite a nice day today. I've got an event. So I'm speaking at an event today, which I'm really looking forward to. So I'm going down there shortly. But I thought we'd have a look at something before I went. Do the usual subscribe. If you can buy me a coffee, please do. Right, okay, that would really help. I was kicked off Patreon, for those of you that don't know. Which is where I run my warrior mindset, my winning mindset for the warrior teachers program from. I was kicked off it. So they basically shut me out for a bit. Now I'm back on, but obviously it's very worrying that they have that kind of power. I've had to remove various blogs and various articles from it, including the letter to gay men, which was one of my most popular videos ever. They deemed the letter to gay men video and the subsequent blog that goes with it were hate speech. Hate speech. Okay, so YouTube haven't. It's still there. I'll put the link to it at the end of this one. It will be one of the YouTubes you can click on if you'd like to see the letter to gay men video that Patreon deemed to be hate speech, because I would be interested in your opinion on that. Other than that, I think we'll move forward. We've got a new warrior teacher program starting in December, so I'll be advertising it over the next few weeks, and if you want to come along, come along. Got a few people already, so I'm going to send out some emails saying if you want it, you need to let me know. You can always become part of that. Again, all the links are in the doobries. Right, other than that, let's have a look and see what's been happening today. There's a lot of anger, and rightfully so, righteous anger, in regards to the Ministry of Justice, or as it's known, the MOJ, right, the Ministry of Justice, who have thousands of staff. Now, this is a civil service situation, right? This is civil service, right? For my viewers abroad, essentially it's part of the government, which is the Ministry of Justice, who would deal with things like prison and that type of thing, all to do with the criminal justice system in any format. And this has been written by the rather marvellous Ewan Somerville, who's a very good reporter indeed. Right, so okay. Thousands of staff have received an email in the civil service for Transgender Awareness Week. Really? Who's not aware? Point them out. Are there really people who aren't aware? Oh dear. Be aware. This country needs wares. Anyway, right. Thousands of staff received email for Transgender Awareness Week containing a list of banned terms, including gender critical. The Ministry of Justice got the Stasi working with it. What's going on? Staff have been told that they should not use the terms gender critical, right, and protecting women and girls in order to be trans allies. Apparently that's scaremongering and misinformation. With trans hate crimes up 56% in a year, that doesn't mean a damn thing, by the way. There's so few of them anyway, right? Okay, it's the gay ones that have gone up, and we know why, because of this LGBTQI plus hands, knees, and bumps a daisy bunch of twats. Right, so the email marked official sensitive, right? Was neither, in fact. The truth be told, this has come from an Affinity group. We'll get to that, right? And sent this month through the HM Prison and Probation Service, HMPPS, Diversity and Inclusion Team. What a surprise, right? And it was leaked to the Telegraph. Now, it says here, in order to be an active ally, this idea of allyship, which is what they use, isn't it, to lull people in, staff were given a glossary titled Recognising Transphobic Coded Language, right? Which contained 35 everyday phrases that it claimed were turning, what would be, they're the sort of thing that apparently hurts people, because it's words of violence, aren't they? The only reason these people think that words of violence, by the way, just so you understand this, is so they can forgive themselves when they're violent to you, because this kind of victimhood tribalism always leads to death. Always. It's equity for you. Always leads to death. So, the list of coded language includes the phrase gender critical, which is used to refer to campaigners who believe biological sex is binary, but don't believe, they know it is. They don't have to believe it's fact. However, the document claims it is a self-selected label to denote holding anti-trans views. A self-selected label. It's a term used to make anti-trans discrimination sound palatable or a respectable opinion. The strangest thing about doing this is they've sent this out saying this. It's a self-selected label. It warns staff to look out for social media accounts that hold this view. Is that in order for them to say that gender critical is a self-selected label to denote holding anti-trans views, they're admitting that gender ideology is at the heart of their trans movement. So all they're doing is moaning about people that are wise to their grift. Wankers. The document claims we're wise to your grift. We are what? No, the document claims it's a term. This, gender critical is a term used to make anti-trans discrimination sound palatable or respectable opinion. Right? Okay, respectable. We're idiots. Worthy of respect in a democratic society. Right? Afraid not. Equality Act, law, forced data. All that. No nonsense. What they're just pissed off because the grift's up. Bugger, you've caught us. Quick, make something up. Like a child, fumbling with its own arse piece under the stairs quietly. We've noticed it's there. What are you doing? Nothing. That's what these people are. Also listed as well in the words that they don't want to be used because they're all, transphobic dog listening. Protect women's spaces, protecting women and girls, which it says relies on equating trans women with being predatory men. Well, they're men. Some men are predatory. That's why we have safeguarding, right? And safeguarding covers everybody, including women, who are responsible for a very tiny amount of predatory violent behaviour. It's all men, right? Safeguarding exists because of all men, right? And we don't go, oh, he's okay, he's a good cove. Give him the key to the girls' dormitory. We don't do it, we go safeguarding. Safeguarding. That's what this is about, right? Supporting trans inclusion, it says here, it convinces people that supporting trans inclusion threatens their safety. Well, it does. What's wrong with them? Right? It doesn't threaten their safety because they're trans or they decide that there's something called trans. It threatens safety because they're men. Right? And whether we like it or not, men are the ones that commit most of these crimes. And that's safeguarding. When safeguarding, we also include women in the safeguarding. We include everybody. That's why it's fair. Right? That's why it's fair. Okay? That's why it's equitable. Look at that. Good use of equity. Treating everybody the same. Right? But treating everybody the same because to not do so would let people get through the gaps. I was watching a film yesterday with a friend of mine who's a lovely, small, bespectacled fellow. And it was called Spotlight, which if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's brilliant, which is about the Boston child abuse scandals with the Catholic Church. And he sat there going, oh, hang on a minute. Isn't this the same as... Yes, it was the same, I was saying to him. You set up a priestly class, that's what happens. Safeguarding falls. Who are these people, right? Civil servants are warned in an introduction to the glossary. It is important to recognise these words and phrases, understand their context, and educate those you hear using them. This is the Stasi. Whilst passing uses of these phrases might not be considered misconducts, the importance of challenging their use cannot be overstated. Don't you challenge my use of words, and you're going to have a scrap on your hands. It's that simple. And in order to challenge it, if you challenge it, doing so reduces hostility, intimidation, and degradation within the Ministry of Justice for service users. And you need to treat others with decency and respect. No, we don't. Tolerance is all you get. Tolerance is all you get. Okay, that's it. That's all you get, ever. Even in work. I tolerate people. That's the best they get. Apparently some of the staff inside government have expressed disquiet. How have they done that? Disquiet. Have they quietly I don't see him online talking to us. A Minister of Justice staff member told the Telegraph, when I first read the attachment in the email, I could not quite believe it. The worst thing was that I was unable to raise it safely at work for fear of being labelled a transphobe. There you go. This is what affinity groups get you, okay? Well, we've got an affinity group here. It'll be for people who are LGBTQIA, hands and knees and bumps of daisy. We've got one over here for, people of a certain colour because they're, vaguely brown. And if you're darker than that, that's your group. Hang on a minute. Mid-dark? Oh, that's the group over there. This is the kind of intersectional crap that exists, you see. This is what they're doing. It's intersectional nonsense. And this group here, yeah, that's for the swollen. What's the criteria? Swollen people here. I'd be in that group. I'm mostly swollen these days. Right. This document, says the staff member, came across as very aggressive and antagonistic towards anyone who believes in biological reality. Right, most of the planet then. I feel upset and powerless. Well, you weren't, were you? You went to the Telegraph, he spoke to you, and look what we've got. Well done to you, whoever you are, hiding there in the Ministry of Justice, fomenting dissent. Yep, like the antibiotic that's going to cure the bacteria of gender identity ideology. This list of words also flags up. Let's have some more, shall we? Let's have some old favourites. Like, what was that music they used to play on Top of the Pops? You know, when they were doing the top 10. Here we go. One that we all know. It's also adult human female. It manipulates people into supporting bigotry while creating hostility towards trans people and their allies. These are nutters. The document goes on to say same-sex attracted is a coded term refusing to recognise trans women as women. They aren't women. And trans men as men. They aren't men. And aims to cause division among the LGBT plus hands, knees and bump stage community by claiming attraction is solely based on genitalia. Well, you know, if you get your cacks off, then you've got a muff. I am never going to muff dive, right, for example. Stupid people. It also takes objection to the campaigners stating that sex is real or immutable, because sex isn't rigidly binary. Right? It's not rigidly binary. Okay. I mean, this is insanity, isn't it? It's insanity, right? It even says the word trans woman, right, with no space, which it claims is an attempt to other trans people by removing the space between adjective and noun in the term trans woman, thus placing them in a separate category as a whole separate noun. What does that even mean? Right, okay? What does it even mean? Maya has spoken, Executive Director of sex-based rights group Sex Matters. I did a piece on one of their brilliant reports the other day. It is chilling that an official MOJ staff group email is telling civil servants to view ordinary language as transphobic. This is likely to lead to harassment and bullying of anyone who challenges gender ideology-based policies in prisons and the justice system. Yes, it is. And that may be the price that some people have to pay. However, a prison service spokesman who has remained... They're always unnamed, aren't they, the big ups, the high ups. A prison service spokesman said the guidebook was published by a staff network. Its content was not approved prior to being communicated, and it is a network rather than a corporate view of the prison service. Right, the simple fact of the matter is, affinity groups are dangerous, and they are not... I think they're in breach of the Equality Act. I was reading Audrey's timeline. If you don't know Audrey, you need to follow Audrey. I'll put the Twitter down. Great stuff on the Equality Act, knows her stuff. I call her the Miss Marple of the EDI. Right? You want to know about stuff? Follow Audrey, okay? Brilliant on Equality Act. So it's I think affinity groups breach the Equality Act, and I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. You know, stop this, get men out of women's prisons. The whole thing's crap. Anyway, that's just... Can you... Well done, Ewan, for revealing the absolute lunacy of some bunch of mad nut jobs. They're fanning about in the prison service and the Ministry of Justice. How can they possibly send out emails like that and not get fired? Just fire them. Why is this a problem? Sack them for gross misconduct, right? For attacking gay people, protected characteristics, same-sex protected characteristics, and attacking women. Fire them. I don't get it. Anyway, that's enough of my ranting. I'm going to go and do my meeting now. I'm really excited. There'll be some people there. I'm going to get to talk about education, what's happening in universities, what's happening in schools. And I've got the next video. I'm doing an analysis of some of a book. Only 2 or 3 pages. That was all I needed. Right? 2 or 3 pages of a book that's being used across Britain for a PSHE guidance. So look out for that. Yes, look out for that. I shall be doing that tomorrow. Hopefully that'll be released tomorrow. And that will give us some insight into what these people are actually wanting to do with your children. Because remember, it's not what they've written that you have to read, it's what's between the lines. So tomorrow, between the lines, children and sex. I probably shouldn't end it there, should I? Yeah, let's end it there. Go!